What is going on, everybody? I needed some time for several reasons to kind of be able to take this loss in stride and to kind of put it all into perspective. I also wanted to bring y'all another level overall presentation as we talk about the Bears. So I'm gonna give you guys. I know Bears. The game's been over for about an hour about at this point. So some of y'all might not even be mad no more. So I'm apologizing if I'm about to reopen some wounds as we talk about this. Generally, moving forward, I'll get out here, start talking about this a little sooner than I'm doing right now. But in case you missed it, or you probably didn't, but in case you just still need more counseling and more group therapy, we're going to talk about the Bears' 28-21 loss to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, Lambeau Field, leading the NFC North on the line. Bears did not get it done. But I want to shape this in a different way than the way, maybe some people are shaping it. I do not think that this is cause for panic. I don't think that that's what this is. I think this is a situation where the Bears are actually, all things considered, played well, right? But didn't get it done. Let's just go over what we saw today. So, yeah, heartbreak for sure. I'm gonna look at a couple things here. The team stats. You look at this. The Bears. If you were to look at this team stats panel without the final score, you would think that the Bears had a really good chance to win this game if they didn't win, and they did have a good chance to win this game. More first downs. The third down situation was a little bit in the favor of Green Bay. We'll talk about that in a second. Exact same amount of plays run. Obviously, if you look at total yards, we're right there in the same situation. Green Bay had more passing yards. We'll talk about how that ended up. We had more yards on the ground. We'll talk about that as well. The turnover thing was even. We'll also talk about that. Red zone was kind of a thing, but it was really the last play in the red zone that put us in the situation that we were in. So I don't know, man. There's so much to talk about when it goes to Caleb, but and the whole nine. Obviously, Bears have a chance to tie this game up, or maybe even put themselves in a position to go for the victory. But Caleb Williams throws an interception on the final offensive play of the game. Packers get the ball and sit on the ball for the last 25 seconds of the game at that point. But I want to, while the immediate thing to do is to look at it and say, this is how the Bears lost. It was this game. It was this play. Some people might overreact and say, well, Caleb cost them the game with that play. And there was no question about it. That pass was not the right pass to make. The play call was solid. The Bears were set up to get a touchdown on that play. They had gotten a touchdown on a play similarly against the Eagles on a short yardage situation. Caleb threw the ball over the top to Cole Kmet for a touchdown in that play against the Eagles. He tried to do the exact same thing here. The crazy thing about the play against the Eagles was the short receiver was wide open in that play as well. But Cole Kmet was even more open in the end zone, and you go for the touchdown. Caleb essentially tried to do the same thing this time, but this time Kmet wasn't open, and DJ Moore was wide open running under, and he would have scored as well if Caleb gives him the ball. But that was the play that ended the game, but that was not really totally what cost the Bears the game. Let's take a look at what actually, to me, in my opinion, is the reason why the Bears lost. I'm not saying that didn't play a role. Obviously, it's a huge play. It's the biggest play of the game. But it was more than just that. The game's not won and lost on just that one play. So what went wrong in my opinion, was we had a lot of missed tackles. Obviously, you had the one final mistake, but the efficiency I also thought was a big deal. Look at this, third downs. The Bears have been the best defense on third downs all season long. That was not the case today. Packers 8 for 12 on third down, 75% efficiency in that situation. It's going to be tough if a team is converting 75% of their third down situations. I'm sorry, 66% of their third down situations. That's going to be a very difficult situation there for a defense to deal with. Missed tackles, obviously, there was a huge one there on Josh Jacobs on that last offensive drive. That's crazy. Obviously, DJ Moore is wide open on that pass. They don't get the ball to him. And then that last moment at the end was crazy. The Bears controlled the game in terms of the time of possession. They beat the Packers on that aspect of the game, but still could not get it done. You're not going to be able to get past some of that stuff. Like if you look at overall, you look at the full stat breakdown, you're like, okay, well, all right, we see, the Bears won the time of possession. They didn't turn the ball over. And oddly enough, this is one of the only games of the season where the Bears penalties, they didn't shoot themselves in the foot from a penalty standpoint. But against really, really good teams, it's going to come down to decisions late in the game, key plays here and there. There were more key plays missed than just Caleb Williams' interception in the end zone. There were more than that. The Bears had Josh Jacobs dead to rights on a play where they could have pushed the Packers into a 3rd and long, and maybe they don't give up a touchdown at the end of the game on that last play, and the Bears don't have to come all the way down to get in the end zone. But we missed tackles there. Inside the 5-yard line, Josh Jacobs simply ran straight through a Montez Sweat tackle, and he ends up getting into the end zone. So there's those plays like that you miss that I think also lead to this loss. Here's another thing. We got to talk about this. The Bears gave up some explosive plays in this game that they had not been giving up all season long. They got burned for blitzing more today than they have all season long. And I'm not going to blame one person per se, but there was one guy, if I'm giving out a least valuable player today, and I'm not going to, y'all probably already think I'm going to say Nick McLeod because he's the worst player on the face of the earth. And that is true. Nick McLeod is the worst player on the face of the earth. But today, I think the least valuable player on the Bears team was a guy who we generally consider our best player in the secondary, and that was Jalen Johnson. I think he was the least valuable player. Critical mistakes. He only had 2 tackles. He had 0 passes defended. He had 2 huge blown assignments. Both of those things end up being a touchdown. Tom Brady actually called it out on the broadcast. He says Jalen Johnson needs to red dog this situation when they brought everybody on the blitz. When the tight end stays in the block, he has to come out and has to go ahead and blitz the quarterback. He did not do that. There's another play where he has to take over the middle of the field. He doesn't do that. Both of those plays turned out to be Packer touchdowns, and those were miscues on Jalen Johnson's part. Those are 2 big mistakes. Now, you might look at, but they didn't throw at him a lot. It's still a part to be played on defense, and I don't think he played his part well. I don't know whether or not Jalen Johnson is still not 100%. It definitely looked like that to me. He just did not look, in my opinion, physically engaged in this game. I don't know why. The only thing I can say to explain that is that he is still not 100%. I'm not crapping on Jalen Johnson for the rest of the year or for the rest of his career. I'm just calling it as I saw it in week 14, a humongous game on this schedule. He did not play well. Jalen Johnson did not play well at all today. CJ Gardner-Johnson got burned a few times, but I'm not going to be as hard on CJ because he's playing a position that he shouldn't even have to play because we got Kyler Gordon down for injury. Bears secondary is beat up all over the place. I'm not going to call him out there. I'm certainly not going to call Kevin Byard out for getting beat in open space by one of the faster receivers in the league and Christian Watson when he should never have to cover a wide receiver that long. If you're getting home on the blitz, he's not in that position. So we got to call that out, right? But as I said, I'm not panicking. This is not oh my God, the season is in the toilet. The Bears are 9-4. All right. 9-4, already blown past everything they did last year. In my opinion, they're already at a place where you can totally say this is obviously still a playoff team. It's not time to panic. And one of the biggest reasons I want to point out that it's not time to panic is the play of this offensive line. So if I had to give out an MVP today, I'm going with this offensive line. Those dudes were absolute trench MVPs. Caleb Williams was only sacked 1 time. He didn't get a bunch of pressure up his face The Bears are playing against Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons did not wreak havoc on this game. I thought they had a good game plan for moving away from him. I thought Ozzie Trapio was really solid at left tackle. I don't think Darnell Wright got massively outplayed. The Bears were physical. They had the Packers defense tired out at many points in this game. They got consistent push up the middle, positive yards before contact, a lot of times before DeAndre Swift or Kyle Monunga even had a hand on them. I thought they really helped take control of this game in the second half. Bears had 138 yards on the ground, 32 attempts, 4.3 yards per rush, almost 34 minutes of total time of possession. They outrushed the Packers 138 to 117. For me personally, I don't know how you could have asked the Bears offensive line to play a better game than they played. They were outstanding. It seemed to me they were ready to play from the moment they showed up. And I want people to understand that how much of a positive point this is for the Bears moving forward. I know this loss sucks. 100%. This loss sucks. I hate the Packers. You know what I'm saying? I got to tell y'all, I hate the Packers. And obviously we hate losing to them. We want to, as we take steps, start to beat the Packers, right? That is what the Bears and Bears Nation wants. They didn't get that done today, but this game did not look like a traditional Bears-Packers game. It didn't look like little brother fighting against big brother, and you really have no chance for little brother to win. That didn't look like this. This looked like a game the Bears had an opportunity to win, and I think the greatest thing about it is that the Bears are not in the form that they're obviously going to be in once all of the pieces start to fall into place. I've made the analogy before, is that this feels like Theo Epstein's Cubs before they were really ready to turn the corner to be a World Series champion. But we saw that year before they won the World Series that they were really hitting on all cylinders. That's what, beginning to hit on all cylinders. To me, that's what this feels like. This feels like the Bears are right there on the cusp, and they're waiting and they're ready to make this to make this jump. It's not going to be this year more than likely, and I've been saying that all year. This is not the year. The success has teased us and got us to almost buy in, but it's not this year. It really is next year. And who knows what happens for the rest of the season. I mean, the way the Bears played today, I wouldn't rule out they could win out at this point for the rest of the way. The way they played this week, the way they played against Philly last week, there's still room for improvement that, things can happen. So I don't know what happens. It would not be crazy to me if the Bears went 13-4 or 12-5 to end this season. That would not be crazy to me. And obviously we're in the playoffs at that point in time, and there's things are looking up. We do play the Packers again in 2 weeks, so we will see what happens with that. Now that's the team perspective. All right, now we got to talk about what obviously everybody wants to talk about all the time. It's always about the quarterback. And so I was really charting Caleb Williams in like a story arc kind of a way. And so we started off in the first quarter, and I'm going to be honest with you, he was terrible. It was terrible. Like it some of it was game plan, some of it was a lot of things, but I thought early on in the game, Caleb's first quarter was really bad. He did not look ready to play, in my opinion. He looked like the rivalry, the atmosphere was getting the best of him, and I was truly worried. 1 for 7 in the first quarter with 2 yards passing. Now, I will say this, and I call this out here, Colston Loveland did have a ball ripped out of his hands that would have been the second completion of the quarter, but still overall, and he missed a lot of throws. It was bad. It was really bad. And I'm like, okay. But the defense, I thought, stood tall, kept the Bears right in the game when things could have gotten out of hand, right? Second quarter wasn't all that much better. I'm going to be honest with y'all. He's 6 for 14, 32 yards overall at the half, still 2.3 yards per completion. He got sacked at that point. I'm like, okay, this is going to be tough. We down at the half, 14-3. This looks like this could go completely off the rails. That's what I'm thinking at that point. I'm like, this is not going to go well. This is going to go really bad. But something happens consistently with this kid at halftime. I don't know what it is. I don't know what happens. It's like he goes into the freaking chamber where Neo was in the Matrix, and they upload all of the data, and he comes out and starts to play like a different kid. So third quarter, like I'm saying, I'm keeping the story going. Third quarter, he starts to get momentum. He completed 7 out of 10 passes for 77 yards and a touchdown in the third quarter. Got his numbers up to 13 for 24 with 109 yards passing, 4.5 yards per completion. He had the touchdown, still hadn't got sacked again. Getting his rhythm going. We looking good. Got still only been sacked one time. Didn't get sacked again for the rest of the game. We're in a position now where it's like, okay, they might be able to pull this out. Down 21-14, I believe, at the end of the third quarter. Fourth quarter, he was playing lights out. He really was. But the interception at the end is what killed him. Not hitting DJ Moore is going to be something that he relives probably in his head for a while. Bears fans and media will talk about the fact that he did not hit that, but we do need to still look at the second half and how good he was in the second half. 13 for 21, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, obviously the big interception, no sacks. Finishes not the greatest numbers ever, 19 for 35, 186 yards, 5.3 yards per completion. The 2 touchdowns, obviously the 1 interception, ends up with a 76.6 passer rating. Those numbers don't look great. But if you watch the game, you know that in that second half, Caleb really did play well with the exception of that interception at the end. Like, this is what, honestly, these are the growing pains of when you're dealing with a young quarterback who is going to be great. I'm beginning to see the Josh Allen like transformation that is happening. I'm beginning to see it. It's happening. Like in the second half, in third quarter, Bears really needed something to happen in the game that gave them some momentum. The scramble to his right and the dime that he threw over the shoulder to Cole Kmet was an amazing pass. The touchdown he threw to Zaccheaus, I'm going to be honest with you, was not a good throw. I mean, it was a perfectly thrown ball, but it was not a good decision to throw that ball. It was first and goal. He had just helped give the Bears all kinds of momentum with his play, with the pass over the top to Kmet. Don't push your luck in that way. He got away with it with that dime that he threw to Zaccheaus. But I'm going to tell y'all, the window he had to get that ball in was so small. That was not a risk at that time of the game that you need to be taking. First and goal, your run game has been great all season long. You, even if that's a pass play, you throw that ball out of bounds, man, or you try to make a play with your legs. You do not thread that needle like that. He got away with it. But I'm telling you, if that ball is a couple more inches to the left, that's an interception. The drive is killed, and we never get that deep into the game. So it was a risk that he took that he got away with. But I'm going to be honest, it really was not a good risk to take. In the fourth quarter, he was fantastic until that last play. Until the last play. So we're going to be dealing with these ups and downs with Caleb Williams. It's just something that, as Bears fans, for the rest of this season, we're gonna have to deal with. But I do think that ultimately the payoff is going to be worth it. I don't know that for the rest of the season or even into whatever postseason game that I think we still will make, if we'll see that massive jump. But I think with a complete offseason, another year with Ben Johnson in this offense, I think next year, week 1, you see this guy show up really, truly ready to take a step similar to the step that Josh Allen took in his third year in the NFL. If you don't know what I'm talking about, take a look at Josh Allen's trajectory and how his numbers started to go. Because people they looking at what Josh Allen is right now, and they're not understanding how, oh my God, it was not that in the first year. First year of Josh Allen's career, he completed 52.8% of his passes in 12 games, threw for 2,074 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Caleb has never had a touchdown interception ratio anywhere close to being that bad. Never. He's never had one that bad, right? That's Josh Allen's rookie year. Josh Allen's second year. Now, remember, this is where we are with Caleb right now. Josh Allen completed 58.8% of his passes, 3,089 yards. He threw 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Solid year, right? Decent year. The passing yards not crazy great, but we clearly see this huge jump from what he did in his rookie year. Now you fast forward to his third year, which is what Caleb will be in next season. Josh Allen explodes. Completes 69% of his passes, 4,544 yards, 37 touchdowns, and just 10 interceptions. That is the kind of leap that Caleb will rightfully be expected to make next season. We have to just keep things in the perspective for what we're looking at right now and understand that it's not really necessarily time for him to be that just yet. We got to take this good with the bad that we get, the brilliance that he shows at times, and then the head scratching stuff that he does at times. And it's so crazy how sometimes he gets away with it, sometimes he don't. He gets away with it on that pass to Zaccheaus in a window that he shouldn't have thrown, but he got away with it. Catch is made. He throws the ball perfectly. The last play at the end of the game is a more basic read to get the ball to DJ Moore. It's going to be a touchdown if he throws it to him. Instead, he tries to repeat the exact play he threw for a touchdown against the Eagles the week before, and it throws an interception because Kmet's just not open. I believe it's going to click. We'll never see a completely mistake-free quarterback. That doesn't exist. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, whoever you want to name, that doesn't exist. But the mistakes will, I believe, diminish each season. Now, that's Caleb Williams now and looking ahead. Continuing with the looking ahead concept, I did some homework to look and see. It's amazing how quickly Caleb Williams is rising in some of the Bears' all-time records chases for passers. Now, we know that the Bears' history of quarterbacks is the least intimidating quarterback history in the NFL. But because of that, and because of how much success Caleb is having, he is flying up the records list and the leaders list for the Bears quarterbacks. Take a look at this. This is where through today, Caleb Williams is in regards to passing yards all time. He's already 11th all time in passing yards. He's going to probably pass my boy, Justin Fields, next week. He's more than like, and I'm never going to not love Justin Fields, y'all. So if anybody's waiting on that, you're just going to be waiting because that's my dog and I understand it. And I know he's not perfect and all of that and da-da-da-da-da. And the Bears definitely made the right decision doing what they're doing and going with Caleb Williams. I think that's clear, but that's still going to be my guy. We're going to ride regardless. I'm a loyal cat like that. But next week against the Browns, he more than likely passes Justin Fields and goes to number 10 all time in the Bears passing yards list, which is crazy considering today was the 30th game of his career. Passing touchdowns, he's got a good chance, I think, to go past Justin and Rudy Bukic into the top 10 overall as well in passing touchdowns. And this is in just 31, it'll be 31 games. And I think we all know that he's not even operating at full capacity of what he will be as early as next season. I'm telling y'all, next season, based off of what I see, he probably is going to be in the top 5 in Bears history in passing yardage and probably top 5 in passing touchdowns in team history by the end of next year, maybe before the end of next year. That's saying something for Caleb, but unfortunately, it's also saying something for how bad Bears quarterback history has been. So that's what I got for you guys today. Painful, but I do see the light at the end of the tunnel with this whole situation, but definitely a painful, 100% painful loss. I will say this, though. The Browns next week, the Bears have to make sure they do not have a letdown. Shedeur Sanders put up some serious numbers today. Matter of fact, I had him on fantasy. I wish I had started him. I got Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if Patrick is going to get 33 points. He may not. And it's almost through the first quarter already, and they have not scored. So I may regret not starting Shedeur Sanders. So the team seems to be clicking with Shedeur Sanders. So I don't want the Bears to go into this situation and have what happened to them, have what happened to them against the Ravens happen to them in this game, a game that they should win on paper, but they come in not necessarily ready to play. Thankfully, this time they will not be coming off of a victory. So we shouldn't have to worry about that. But the rest of the way, the Bears have Browns at home, Green Bay at home, which in my opinion looks like an even more winnable game now than it did even before today, even though we lost today. They are on the road against the 49ers, which is a tough game, and then back home against the Lions. The Lions don't look like that same team that ran through us in week 2. They just don't look like that anymore. I don't think that it's crazy to say that the Bears could win all 4 of these games. I don't think that's crazy. I think if the Bears close this out 2-2, I still think that puts them in a decent situation at 11-6. But I think 3-1 is probably what we need to do to really make sure that we control our own destiny moving forward. So we'll see what happens. But I appreciate everybody for watching for sure. God bless and peace.